Diary of the Anointed, Julian's Testament, Entry 1, January 18th, 1911. I remember the first time I set foot upon the cursed road, the Valley of Tears, they call it, a place where flesh is seared from bone, where the weak are reduced to ash, before they can even glimpse the bronze gates of hell's domain. I was weak once. I was like them, like him. I marched beneath the banners of the so-called righteous, chanting hollow prayers, wielding a blade I barely understood. I fought for the throne that did not see me, for the faith that demanded everything and gave nothing in return. But the legion does not lie, the flames do not deceive. The path was agony, it burnt away the illusions, stripped me of the lies I had clung to for so long. I crawled through the smoldering ruins of my former self, past the twisted souls who wailed in endless suffering, past the broken bodies of those who faltered before me. When I reached the gates, my body was no longer my own. My skin had blackened, my hands had withered into cracked things of ruin and snow. But I did not fall. I did not scream. The heretic priests were waiting. Their eyes empty as the void studied me with neither judgment nor pity. They asked no questions. They simply bound my flesh in chains, pressed the mark of the legion into my ruined skin, and whispered the name of my new masters. I did not resist. For the first time in my life, I knew the truth, and I embraced it. Entry 2, January 20th, 1911. War is my only prayer now. My blade sings in the name of the fallen. My armor bears the scars of holy fire, and yet I stand. I have killed so many of them, those who still cling to the light, those who see me return to the grave. They do not understand. They cannot. To them, I am damned. To me, they are blind men, lost in a storm of their own making, unwilling to see the truth beyond their grasp. And yet, amid the ruin of the city, amid the bodies and the blood, I saw him. I had thought him dead, lost to the meat grinder of the Crusade, another nameless soul swallowed by the tide of war. But no, he was there, standing beneath the banner we once swore fealty to, his blade burning with the same righteous fire I once wielded. He hesitated. Even through the carnage I saw it. For a moment, the battlefield faded. There was no screams, no cries, no clash of steel, only silence between two men who had once been brothers. And then he was gone. There was no room for hesitation in this war. The next time we met, I will not falter. Entry 3, January 23rd, 1911. He was the one to find me. I had known it would come to this, known that the past would demand its reckoning. There was no peace in our final meeting, no words, no pleas, only steel. I struck with the strength of the Anointed, my very movements fueled by the power gifted to me through suffering. He met my blade with the same righteous fury, that same misguided faith. We had fought together once, trained together, learned each other's strengths and weaknesses, and now we used the knowledge to destroy one another. He was strong, stronger than I had remembered, but had walked the valley of tears. His blade cut deep, but the pain meant nothing to me now. The fire had already taken everything it could. I felt his strikes, felt the edge of his weapon tear into my flesh, but I did not fall. I could not fall, and yet, a single mistake, a single opening. I felt the steel drive through me, piercing the ruin of my body, cutting through what little remained of the man I once was. For the first time in years, I hesitated. The pain was nothing compared to the weight of the moment. I looked into his eyes, searching for something, understanding, hatred, grief. I do not know what I had expected, but all I saw was certainty, the kind I had once, the kind I had burned away. Darkness began to take me, my body broken and betrayed, refused to move. I felt the heat of the battlefield fading, felt the war slipping away, distant and meaningless. Was this regret? No, that was a lie. There was no regret, only an ending, and then nothing. The Eternity of War, the Journal of a Trench Ghost, Entry 1, Date unknown. I remember death. I remember the steel driven into my gut, the blood spilling out like a river, the light fading from my eyes as I fell into the mud. I remember the sound of battle growing distant, my body growing cold, and for a moment, I thought it was over. But war is never over, not for me at least. I awoke in the filth, my body stiff and ruined. my fingers clawing through the damp earth as if I've been buried and forgotten. My breath did not come, for my lungs were ruined. My heart did not beat, for my blood had long since dried, and yet I rose. The battlefield had not changed, the death still littered the trenches, their bodies frozen in expressions of agony and terror. The fire still burned, though I felt no warmth from them. And in the distance, shadowed figures moved with unnatural silence, their torn uniforms barbed over skeletal flames, their empty eyes staring ahead with grim purpose. I was one of them now. I did not question it. There was no room for questioning, no space for grief or disbelief. My fingers, once flesh, were now bone, wrapped in the remains of my gloves. My rifle, rusted and worn, felt unnatural in my grasp. The gas mask, torn and stained, clung to my face as though it had fused to my ruined skin. A voice echoed in the distance, not a living voice, not an order from a commander of flesh and blood, but something deeper, the voice of war itself, pulling me forward, reminding me of what I had always been. There is no rest, only battle. Entry 2, date forgotten. I march once more. We are a legion, a force of abandoned and the forsaken, bound not by faith or loyalty, but by the chains of war itself. There are no speeches, no grand banners waving in the wind, no cries of triumph, only silent procession of the dead, moving as one, waiting for the next slaughter. The living fear us, and rightly so. We do not feel pain, nor do we tire. We do not hesitate when we strike. We do so with the rage of those denied both heaven and hell. Our enemies are many. I do not know their names, nor do I care. Crusaders, heretics, men of faith, men of greed. It does not matter. They are alive and we are not. This is all the reason we need. There is no glory in this war, no purpose, even the looting. The strange compulsion to gather coins, weapons, and trinkets serve no true end. The treasures we take are piled in forgotten corners of no man's land, left to rot alongside the corpses of those who once sought them, and yet we march, not because we wish to, but because we must. Entry 3, the date has no meaning. I saw him today, or at least what was left of him. The night, the man who killed me. I should have felt something, rage, sorrow, the desperate need for revenge. But there was nothing. He lay in the mud, broken, his armor cracked, his sword rusted in his grasp. I did not know how he died, nor did it matter. War had taken him, as it takes all things, and yet he would find peace. He would rot, his bones would return to the earth. His soul, wherever it may go, would no longer linger here. But I remained. I lifted my rifle and fired, not at him, but at the living soldiers beyond, those who still bled, who still feared death, who still believed they could escape the fates that awaited all of us. My shots found their marks, screams filled the air, and for a moment I felt something. Not satisfaction, not triumph, only the certainty that I would be here long after they were gone. War never ends, and neither will I. And that is it of the Diary of the Anointed, Julian. And what inspired me to write the story was a quote from D.L. Smith: "Well-fed devils behave better than famished saints." And I feel like that is ties so closely to when people falter and turn into heretics. And it really just inspired me to write the story. And it is the end for our Crusader night, which is a shame because I really did enjoy writing a story. But all good stories must come to an end. And if you watch my previous video, you will know that ties into this diary entry. And also just a little bit of exciting news. I did embarrass myself greatly, but I was on a Q&A podcast with Feel No Pain Studios, Lackey from Trench Talk, and Red Hood from Discord. It was a blast. I enjoyed myself. Granted, I only got 2 points. Spoiler alert. I am not really well versed yet with the law. I am still fixated on certain parts of the law, and I only got 2 points, which was a bummer, but I did enjoy the talk in general. And it's been, the Trench Crusade community has been so much welcome. Thank you to Feel No Paint for just welcoming me into the community. And I hope you guys enjoyed this installment, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the trenches.